Oh boy. Salem Historical Society. This way to the wine cellar and holding cells. Ooh. I don't like the sound of that. Who's that? Cassandra? Baxter!
Oh my
no!
God, Baxter? I should have been the one that stopped you.
Ronan? What the hell's going on?
You sick bastard. Why'd you do it? Why'd you bring back the witch trials and kill all those innocent girls?
He's dead and you're accusing him?
You think I'm the Bell Killer? Are you insane? I've never killed anyone. You gotta help me. What is this place? We gotta get out of here.
Oh, we gotta get out of here. All of a sudden, we're buds. You need to tell me what's going on here.
What were you doing here?
What were you doing here?
Following a lead. I never dropped the case. Had this psychic, Cassandra, working with me. And we figured out the Bell Killer is hunting mediums. Like a witch trial execution copycat. At that point, we couldn't let it go. Even after Rex demoted me.
So that's why you're at the museum.
Well, who killed you?
So, who killed you?
The Bell Killer, you idiot. But I didn't get a good look at his face.
Me neither. Bell Killer murdered Baxter. The Bell Killer murdered Baxter in the Judgment House cellar. I'm not even really surprised. I mean, I was surprised that we had found him so quickly, but yeah, no, I knew Baxter wasn't the killer.
Do you know where Cassandra is? Is she still alive?
Last I checked, yeah. I took her to a safe house outside of town.
Oh my God, she's alive. I was sure she'd be dead too. Joy would be freaking ecstatic. She shouldn't end up alone.
Well, does he even know about Joy?
Cassandra ever bring up her daughter?
Wouldn't shut up about her. We looked for Joy for days, but it was too risky. Cassandra has been begging me to track Joy down, but I haven't found her yet.
You're a shitty cop.
I can't believe this. Joy's been helping me tonight.
Figures a cop like you would need help to get this far.
Oh.
You mean like what? The help you got from her mom?
Right? Don't even start. Okay, Baxter knew Joy this entire time, was trying to find her and make sure she was safe. Well, that explains how come he was trying to find her earlier today.
Where's the killer?
No idea. He could be anywhere, but when we fought, he said something I didn't understand at all.
Wait. The killer actually talked?
Not much, but I think I hit a nerve. I told that bastard he'd be dead soon, but he said, I already know death. And then something about his instrument of death will kill again tonight.
My instrument of death? But he kills different ways every time. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
He's talking about the body.
Figure out what that means. Alright, you get back to Cassandra. Make sure she's still safe and bring her back to the station.
What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna quickly check out the cellar and come up with a plan. I hope.
The killer is planning another murder tonight with his instrument of death. The instrument of death is the dude's body. The dude is already dead. His body's been possessed by a ghost, or he just allowed the ghost to possess him, and the ghost is referring to the body indirectly as an instrument of death. So, that's a pretty super simple plot. Nothing completely complex, considering that we're ghosts and dealing with spirits and things like that. It's like the first thing I could write up as a third grader. And then a ghost possessed a guy and killed people. But hey, whatever, let's find out more. Colonial cellar plaque. The cellar in the home of a judge was... Did I get all the plaques? I just got an achievement for it. The cellar in the home of a judge was often the temporary jail for prisoners awaiting trial. This custom was certainly in practice here, where witch trial suspects were held awaiting the judgment of Judge Hawthorne. Long-term holding facilities were unnecessary in these cases, as the penalty for witchcraft under English law was always death. Fucking stupid, but okay. Can't have the death penalty. Death penalties are awful. Depending.
What the hell happened down here?
Don't know, but I guess we're gonna find out. Who the hell is this guy? Ah! This must be one of the judges. What was he doing? Accusing? Judging? Stern. Yeah!
You claim righteousness, but you know your guilt and cannot deny your punishment is due.
But who was he yelling at? Righteous man. The angry man points in the cell and claims to his accused that punishment is due. And these hands certainly look like a young gal's. Yeah, there you go. What was Abigail doing here? Imprisoned. Pleading.
You stood for justice. How is this just?
Because he thinks you're communicating with the devil. But you're not. Extinguished light. I bet these did almost nothing to combat the darkness down here. Well, it's better than nothing. Bound. Did he leave their... Did they leave them bound here? Makes it feel more like a dungeon than a prison. Yeah, fucking... A little girl, really? I don't care if she's communicating with the devil. You don't have to fucking treat her wrong. A prison inside a prison? No. Don't tell me they put someone inside this cage. Why would you need to cage someone who's already locked in a tiny cell? To torture them and make them feel really confined. No rest for the wicked. That looks even less comfortable than the beds I had in prison. Wow. It doesn't look that bad. If they had a blanket, they could just kind of... I've slept on floors tons of times. Ah, secret room. Okay, we've got one more ashes to find. But I'm not trying to find those. I'm trying to find other clues. But I guess maybe the last clue is my answers? Nope, here we go. The bell symbols. Who drew this? Obviously, it's her. Abigail's linked to all of this. What happened down here? Well, Abigail was imprisoned. Being judged by a righteous man, and she drew the symbol.
You claim righteousness, but you know your guilt and cannot deny your punishment is due.
I thought you stood for justice. How is this just?
The courts are not a place for your murderous whimsy. You are a corrupt heathen. The families of those innocent souls you executed through false accusation of witchcraft will exact their righteous justice tonight.
False accusation?
What is that nonsense you draw?
My mark will burn like a brand in the flesh of this town. If it takes me to the ends of eternity, I will personally make the bell toll for every witch in Salem.
This little bitch!
Wait. The guy who killed me is... Abigail. She might be the bell killer. How is that possible? I gotta get out of here and figure out how to track her down.
I guess that's like a light plot twist there, finally. Is Abigail the bell killer? Abigail's the bell killer. But how could she be? Well, I mean, it was really fucking suspicious that she was still around centuries afterwards and knew many things about the ghost world. She obviously hadn't found closure for something, and I guess that's because she wants to kill every medium in existence. Oh boy. Alright, well, let's get ourselves out of here, I suppose. Let's look at our objective. Oh right, it's still exit the attic. From all the way at the beginning of the game. That's okay, I'll just leave.
Dispatch. Has Rex checked in? He's transporting a suspect to the station. We can't get him on the radio.
Oh no.
Picking up his phone either.
Nope, he hasn't checked in. We'll notify you when he shows.
Copy that.
Oh shit, if Rex is missing, it could be going down right now. Where'd you take Joy, you asshole?
Where would Abigail take Joy? Not the church because the cops are there. Actual Puritan era gallows? He would be taking her to the museum! Okay, hold up. Church attic. No, the museum. We have so many random things. Hold up now. Oh, I get it. He's gonna go up to... No. Shit, really? I fucked this up? I have no idea! It's like, this is the most obvious one, but we have two other things to slap on there. Where the fuck would he take her? Not even in the attic! The killer is planning another murder night with his... Okay. See, when you say, where would Abigail take Joy? I figure that everything should be related to destinations. And this is like one of the only ones there. This one's just kind of like, well, he's gonna use the instrument of death. But I just kind of assume that the instrument of death refers to the body, but it could just be referring to something else. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Instrument of death, meaning her death, where she was killed. The gallows at the museum.
That is a different way to see it.
Hang on, kid. I'm on my way.
Ah, okay, I can see it now. My instrument of death. Got you. Alright. The fact that I have to walk out of this goddamn giant-ass place means that something bad's about to happen. I don't like this. We're gonna have demons and shit popping out. Oh boy. I don't trust things. Okay. So I have one more, that's not the right one. I have one more side case, or not side case. I have one more of the Ashes to Ashes story and I have no idea where it is. And I don't want to spend another like 20 to 30 minutes. Fuck, that'd probably even be longer. This place is huge. So, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna walk out of here. Maybe it's along the way back out. Please don't have any fucking demons. I hate the demons. They stress me the hell out. I will take like light looks around the areas as I'm passing through here, in hopes that it was something that I missed, you know, in one of the rooms earlier inside the building. So were these all talking about... Hold up now. Were these all talking about the victims? Where would they be? Fuck it. I have no idea. Sometimes the clues are stored in obvious places, and sometimes they're stored in really odd areas. But I guess we're not gonna get attacked by a demon. Which I am more than happy about. I don't like demons. They're scary. They're like, ah! I'm like, fuck, I actually have to kill them. Although I could sneak around them, but fuck that. That's too risky. If I had left the demons alive, I would have had to deal with them. Or dealt with them as they came back out. And that would really suck. Well, there's the door. Have I been here? Oh! Oh! Wow! I didn't have to go through a long place at all. I could have just could have gone right and left the building straight from the basement. I didn't realize. I didn't realize how directly connected these areas were. Okay. Well, fuck it, I guess. There's no one here, so I might as well look around for the last case file. Well. Ah ha ha ha! Here we go! In this back-ass corner. Goddamn. Well, let's see if this was worth it. Ashes to ashes. Sounds like it'll be an interesting story.
Salem wasn't the most exciting place for a couple of rambunctious 13-year-olds. And playing with my friends after school, it usually required a healthy dose of imagination to spice up the underwhelmingly bleak landscape.
Should have gotten video games.
To us, Salem's history was just a bunch of creepy stories and tourist attractions. Witches didn't exist, we all knew that. That's why Robbie Barnes was the laughingstock of the entire school. He actually believed that they were real. Looking back, I wish I hadn't teased him so much. Maybe then he'd still be alive.
Oh boy.
I forget which one of my friends actually came up with a plan to prank Robbie, but it didn't take him long to get us all on board. My job was to find an example of an old spell. It took me all of 15 minutes. And the library had practically every book ever written on the subject. The next step involved the Judgment House. It sat up on the hill, abandoned. Everyone said it was haunted. What made it even creepier were the rumors that Judge Hawthorne burned the remains of accused witches in the house's various fireplaces. That's where Robbie comes in. We dared him to sneak into the Judgment House in the middle of the night and collect a handful of ashes from each of the fireplaces. Then he'd have to light some candles, sprinkle the ashes, and read the spell. We told him that if done correctly, the spell would supposedly blow out all the candles. If he agreed to do all this and the candles so much as flickered, we would promise to stop making fun of him. We could see that he was scared, but to his credit, he agreed to go through with it. What we didn't tell him was that we had set up a hidden camera to catch all the hilarity on tape. The next day, Robbie didn't come into school. We assumed he had chickened out and was too embarrassed to face the music. Then I heard that Robbie went missing. I felt the chill run down my spine as I retrieved the tape from our hidden camera. I pressed play and fast forward until I saw Robbie. He was doing just as we instructed him to. But then, a shadowy figure crossed in front of the camera. Robbie turned in horror just as the camera cut to static. When the image finally returned, Robbie was gone. And the only sign that anything had happened at all was the now smoldering fireplace over in the corner.
Oh. Did Robbie get burned after collecting all those ashes? That's awful. Alright. Well, I guess it's finally time to get the hell out of here as soon as I can figure out where the hell I am again. Yeah, here we go. Staircases. Thank God that they can be a landmark. From here, I just have to leave the door. Leave a door as soon as I find it. I hate these huge places. But at the same time, I like it. I like exploring. It's just that trying to find a random collectible in a back-ass corner isn't exactly the most kind of fun. Alright, put some pip to your step. Your brother's in trouble. Along with your, medium friend. Seriously, what the hell are those, like, black, shadowy things that are in the distance that we can hide into? I just kind of figured that they're glitches, but that was just in a rendered cutscene, so they're not glitches. They are purposeful things. We have, like, light, shadowy marks, and then, like, shadowy, or, like, just dark, shadowy stuff. And that's just creepy. Ugh. Salem Mystery Museum, we're going back! And hopefully everybody's still there, so that way the bell killer can't just be like, ah, wow, this is easy. No, he's gotta have a little bit of a challenge. Oh, hello. What is this? I missed this. How'd I miss that? Jeez. That one's like extremely obvious. And apparently, one of the eternal flames is supposed to be inside the cop department? Let me look around through here real quick. Oh, here we go. All the way in this back-ass alley. I kind of just looked it online. I mean, I was figuring that there was no real way that the eternal flame thing was inside of the cop station, and I kind of, it pinged in my mind. I was like, but we got everything that was inside of the police station, so maybe the comments were just wrong. That comment was wrong. The eternal flame thing was not in there. Although I probably missed one of the Star Wars things and then got it back later on. I don't know, he might be referring to that. But this is what I'm looking for.
I've all seen them by the side of the road. These
Jesus.
Unkept, smudged, hopeless people holding cardboard signs. Sometimes they have props. Baby stroller, a pet, gasoline can. Something to lend credence to the thin fiction that they need money for something other than booze. It was a man with a need gas sign with the red gas can on the ground that I saw when I drove into Salem 6 unlucky years ago today. Tried to ignore him, not making eye contact, but I was stuck at a red light and pretending he wasn't there was getting really awkward. So I reached into my pocket and pulled out $2, rolling down my window just a crack. Here you go, buddy. I pushed the money through the opening of the window. That was when, for the first time, I really looked at his face, or what was left of his face. It was a single eyeball just looking back at me, bulging out of a charred skull. I was absolutely frozen in terror until the blackened shape of uncovered finger bones reached out to take the money. And that's when I let it fall to the ground and slammed on the accelerator. I didn't even care that the light was red. In the time since then, I've picked up pieces of the legend. A shell-shocked war veteran, unemployable and alcoholic, became a familiar sight in Salem, begging by the roadside. Citizens stopped giving him money, thinking he would just move on to a bigger city. He responded by creating one of the most traumatic spectacles in town history, setting himself alight in the middle of town during evening rush hour. Ever since that roadside encounter, I've been seeing little wisps of flame out of the corner of my eye, like brief flashes that are gone as soon as I turn my head, sending nauseated chills through my whole body. Is this tormented spirit following me now? Whether he intends it as a blessing or a curse, I just want to be as far as possible from this horrifying specter.
That's actually kind of creepy. Well, let's see. I might as well. I feel like I'm about to reach the end of the game here. You know, we're about to confront Abigail about things, so I might as well get some of the other stories as well. So let me go ahead and head over to the closest thing to me, which is the insane asylum. But God, I didn't know what the hell. I was like, this sounds like actually just a really creepy dude. But then it said that he burned himself. And I was like, oh, so he's dead. And he's haunting her now because he gave her a little bit of money. So is that like a little bit of a moral lesson? Make sure to actually look at the people before you just kind of throw money at them, you know? You might just avoid getting stared at by a really creepy face. Oh! Well, that was easy. Doctor writes patient files. I don't need that, I need this. I was like, maybe straitjacket number 1 is right next to the door. Oh boy.
I've had a long career working as a state inspector for the Department of Mental Health. During that time, I've been to a lot of institutions, and I have seen a lot of horrible things. But Nothing even comes close to the evil events that I witnessed at Fairhaven Sanitarium, the place they now call Lux Eterna. I first arrived in 1926 to investigate claims of overcrowding and neglect. However, Fairhaven's reputation was tainted long before that. In 1911, Fairhaven opened its doors for the first time. A notoriously violent criminal by the name of Jack Yates was the hospital's first patient. He was to be the shining example of the hospital's ability to cure the mentally deranged. However, when the superintendent's family was visiting one day, Yates broke free from his restraints, and he killed the man's wife. Since then, no one knows what happened to Yates or the superintendent. Well, that is, until now. Superintendent Wallace Halstead greeted me at the door. He seemed as empty and unkempt as the patients he lorded over. And as I conducted my evaluation, I couldn't help but notice how nervous he got when I passed by a small broom closet. And naturally, I felt it necessary to find out why. When I opened the door, I was hit by the overpowering smell of human excrement. As the light flickered on overhead, I was horrified at what I saw. A withering man lay shackled to the floor in a pile of his own filth. Years of sunless existence had turned his skin, hair, and eyes milky white. He'd been chained there for so long that his skin had grown over the shackles.
Ugh.
It took me a moment to realize that the husk of a man was Jack Yates. The police arrived and Dr. Halstead was carted off. Doctors moved Yates from the small room for the first time in 15 years. The floor beneath him was permanently stained with the shape of his silhouette. They tried to remove the shackles from under his skin, but the shock of it all was too much for him. He died the next day. I watched as they walled up his tiny prison, trying to pretend that it never happened. I honestly hope he's in a better place, although the staff still claims to hear his agonizing wails coming from inside the walls.
I like how the room was covered in blood in the background. I thought like there was like a horrific murder in the background or something, but I was just like, yeah, no. He had a bad time. They left him in the room to just kind of suffer after he killed that dude's wife. Well, I guess he got punished for what he ended up doing. Alright, well, I guess now it's time to head to the graveyard. Oh. Hello. I must have missed this when I was, but this isn't what I'm looking for. Still? Ah. It is one of Julia's thoughts. Reckless Ronan. I suppose I should expect it. A man with that many tattoos isn't afraid of pain, and isn't afraid of doing something today he'll regret tomorrow. But if I'm going to be attached to him, I need to have some I have to have some assurance that he cares if he lives or dies. I hear stories of the chances he takes, and I hope he's just trying to impress me, because if not, one of these days he's going to barge into a situation and come out in a box. Well, I don't know about a box, but I definitely barged into a room in the wrong situation. Here's one of the heirlooms. Neat. Alright, I just gotta find two more, and it looks like this area actually continues on a bit. Ooh. If you want to give me 2 heirlooms in one place, I wouldn't mind that. No? That makes me so sad. So absolutely sad. They give me this area that I wouldn't have been able to access otherwise, and then what do? No. There's nothing else, man. You got the thing you needed. Now get the hell out of here. That is a shame. Hello? Hold the hell up now. How the hell was I supposed to figure this place existed? And what are you folks up to?
You know, I'm pretty sure there are ghosts of witches right around this spot.
Don't worry, little boy. I'll protect you.
That works for me.
I think you need to protect him from himself. What the hell is he doing to that bottle?
Tonight's gonna be good.
Yeah, Mr. Hoverhands.
No games. That's an awesome girl.
Oh, she's playing you right now.
These aren't that complicated. Yeah, I like this one.
Oh, at least they like each other. Now, where is an heirloom? Ah, here we go. I like heirlooms. Only need 2 more. Well, 1 more after this. Maybe it's inside a crypt. Lovely. All right. We got everything we needed.
I've always been a kleptomaniac. It's not that I was lazy or anything, I was just bored. Stolen goods were always more interesting to me. I could just look at whatever it was and relive the exciting memory of the theft itself. Sometimes I was worried that I'd get caught. Other times I was riding an adrenaline rush. But it wasn't until the last thing I ever stole that I truly felt afraid. I remember it like it was yesterday, despite the years I've been trying to forget it. My friends and I snuck into a graveyard to drink a few beers like we normally did on a boring weeknight. We headed for our usual spot, an old run-down mausoleum. Only this time it was locked. It seemed someone had finally taken an interest in the dead guy it belonged to and didn't appreciate us partying there. So we split up and went looking for a new place. Finally, I found another mausoleum, and one of its walls had begun to crumble away, but I squeezed through. The inside looked the same as all the others, except for one thing. Lying there on top of the central tomb was a dusty frame that contained a wreath made of elaborately braided rope. Knowing that antiques were valuable, I took it. I figured I'd wait a week before selling it in case anyone reported it stolen. So when I got home, I hid it at the top of my closet and went to sleep. That night, I had horrible nightmares of a dead-faced hag with rotting flesh. No matter how many times I woke up, she always found her way back into my dreams. Over the next few days, the nightmares got worse. I'd wake up only to find clumps of my hair missing and my scalp bleeding. I chalked it up to stress and feelings of guilt about stealing from the graveyard. So the next day I went to a pawn shop to sell the wreath and be done with it. I could feel a shiver run down my spine when the pawnbroker informed me that the wreath wasn't made from rope at all. It was actually made from the human hair of a deceased loved one, as was customary in the late 1800s. I wanted the nightmares to stop, so I sold it to him. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way. Now, I spend my time trying to track it down, hoping to return it so I can finally get some sleep.
Out of everybody else's stories, hers was the only one without any real conclusion. Because she still has to find the heirloom. That's her own fault. Whoopsie. Well, I guess with all of the little side ghost stories finally out of the way, it is time to go investigate what is going on with Abigail. Now, I don't care about Julia's thoughts. I like these, even though I'm not a big fan of like hundreds of collectibles. I like these because in the end you got like a nice voiced over story, and I like voiced over stories, but I don't care about finding things just to read it. Especially not over someone who 90% of the time is just gushing over Ronan. I can see where it's going, Julia. I know what's about to happen with things. But we finished all that. It is time to head over to the church. Or, not the church, the museum. Whoops.